What's up, A to Z Sports Nashville? Easton Freeze here, Titans beat writer reporter. I am live in Flowery Branch, Georgia. Just came back from Titans-Falcons joint practice, day one. Wanted to give you guys here on the YouTube channel a little bit of an update on how the first day of joint practices went, since media access, media coverage a little bit tighter down here for Atlanta's policies for the way that they're running the joint practice. We're respecting those things, so want to tell you guys as much about what we saw as possible. Today was day one of 2 days of joint practices against the Falcons, and the Titans weren't great. It was not an awesome day. Was a sluggish start for the second consecutive joint practice. This is the way that things started off in Tampa Bay last week as well. Now, I wasn't there for that, but that's the story that I have been told by just about everybody that went. Today, no different. The big difference is that in Tampa Bay, they bounced back in a pretty big way and finished the back half of that practice really strong. Today, not so much the case. A struggle for the offense to move the ball pretty much all day, struggle for the defense to stop Michael Penix and the Falcons much at all today. Drake London and Penix were getting just about whatever they wanted. Some of the bigger picture takeaways from a day like today, because it is training camp, it's August, what is today, the 11th, the 12th? I lose track of it. It's the middle of August. It's wrong to take away any dramatic conclusions from any one day of practice, even a joint practice that's important like today. But each day is a data point on the trend line of what the team is looking like so far, and I think gives us clues, especially as we get into these joint practices, these preseason games, as to where the strengths and the weaknesses of the team lie, what they need to work on, what acts they need to get in order before the season gets here, which something that kind of slapped me in the face today as I was talking to some of the coaching staff and the front office staff and folks that have been with the team now 7 days on this road trip. There's a pretty strong message that Brian Callahan and his staff have been preaching to the team here in Atlanta, that urgency is key, because it's really easy to fall into the malaise of the day-to-day routine of training camp. You get into the middle of August and the low-stakes monotony of practice, day off, practice, day off, preseason game, and repeat gets easy to kind of sit back into. And then you look up at the calendar, and as of today on Tuesday, there are 20 days until the Titans begin their game week against the Broncos. There are 5 or 6 full padded practices the Titans have left before game week is here. And there's even less time before the initial 53-man roster cut down happens. And a lot of these guys, their job in the NFL is taken away from them and their future is uncertain. And so there's a bit of a disconnect between the message being preached right now and the action that we saw on the field today. Now, again, it's just one practice, and we're going to see them again tomorrow. And I think that them demonstrating an answer to the way that they performed today, which we talked to Jarvis Brownlee Jr. after practice about, we talked to Calvin Ridley and Jeff Simmons about, they all were in agreement that today was, as Jarvis Brownlee Jr. put it, in a long-winded answer, with quote of which you can go and find in my article at atozsports.com right now. He basically said today's practice was all right, and then said some things, and then said it was all right, and then eventually said some things, and then eventually got to, you know what, it was BS. It was a BS day, and we can play way better than that. And that was, you could see the wheels turning for him to finally admit, you know what, that was a BS day of practice, which frankly it was. It wasn't all bad. There were some moments where Cam Ward found his stride in the second 11-on-11 drill, where they started to, stack first downs, and that was nice. You saw him working to Calvin Ridley a lot. I'm becoming increasingly radicalized on the idea that Calvin might get, I don't know. At one point in practice today, I looked up what the NFL record is for the number of targets in a single season, which, by the way, 2002, Marvin Harrison, 205 targets. So that'll be a hard one to beat, but boy, oh boy, is Calvin going to get as much as he can handle, as much as he can be healthy and stay on the field for, because he is the only constant in this offense right now. And he's looking like it at practice. So that's a positive. It was a tough day for Alec Iamaner, who they continue to try to work the ball to. You see the willingness for them to try to work him in. I want to see him use his size a little bit more to his advantage, not play as timid. You're a big guy. Let's see you act like a big guy. And I think that, I've seen him on tape. I've seen him at practice do that. Today, he wasn't doing that, and so that was a little bit disappointing. Not the most accurate day in the world for Cam Ward. I would say one of his less accurate days was throwing a lot of balls behind guys, in front of guys, over guys, dirting balls. A tricky one for him. kind of out of the norm for him. And then on the defensive side of the ball, as I'm just kind of going through my notes mentally, trying to paint the picture for you guys. There was a really nice couple of plays that Bijan Robinson got the better of some of the linebackers and safeties on this team. Drake London, as I mentioned at the top, getting just about whatever he wanted, but he's a very good receiver. Michael Penix, well, I mean, not that you came here to learn about Michael Penix, but he looks very good. Maybe Michael Penix is just the truth. We'll find out this year. But he looked pretty sound out there. Kirk Cousins was there as well. I forgot until I got here. Oh, Kirk is still on this team. So how about that? And he did some things. He looked like Kirk Cousins. So overall, the message of urgency is, I think, being heard, but maybe not being acted on quite yet. I'm very curious, very anxious to see how tomorrow goes, because you can bet with the Titans having the number one waiver claim spot when cut down day comes, I can tell you with the utmost certainty, they are going to wear that out. They are going to be very active in that market. And I think Mike Borgonzi, in his first year in Kansas City, they put in something like 8 waiver claims. That could be the case with this team, man. And so it's not just about being one of the 53 best guys on this team and making the initial team. It's about making the team and then demonstrating in the next 24, 48 hours, 7 days where they're combing the waivers that, hey, I deserve to be, I need this spot locked down. You guys need to keep me, not just put me on the initial spot and then look to replace me, because this front office is doing a lot of work watching the rest of the league very, very intently this preseason. Yeah, they've already kind of demonstrated through their actions the past couple of weeks. They're looking to churn this roster a bunch, and this is not college football. Nobody is on a scholarship, right? Nobody is. There are a few guys that are cemented on this team, but many of them are not. And the front office is, it's the nature of the game, constantly looking for reasons, ways to replace you. And this Titans team, if you watch the Tampa Bay game last weekend, the depth, there's a lot of replaceable guys that need to prove that they belong here. And today at practice, they just didn't do that very effectively. So need to see a better day from Cam Ward tomorrow. Need to see more urgency out of the gate tomorrow. No more slow starts. That's what Jeffrey Simmons told us after practice. Slow starts in Tampa, slow start today, tired of slow starts in these joint practices. He kept going back to, this is what we said a lot about last year, where these slow starts and the sluggishness and the mistakes. And we've got to get that bear off of our back of the 2024 Titans, the 3-14 god-awful Titans. We have to put that behind us. And I think in the past week or so, you've seen the growing pains of, it's not so easy to just turn the page when you're a really bad team. It's really hard to do it in one off season. It's really hard to do it when you're trying to build responsibly and efficiently, and not just paste over problems with a bunch of spending and free agency and older players and all of these things. You're trying to be a draft and develop team. These are the growing pains of truly being a principled draft and develop team. You're going to have a lot of guys that you wish developed faster. You're going to have a lot of guys that are green, that maybe don't necessarily know how to handle themselves, maybe aren't quite mentally or physically prepared for a 10-day road trip in the preseason. The Titans are, I mean, it feels like walking out there today, I was reminded of the beginning of Remember the Titans, which if you've been following along with us here at A2ZSports.com on the YouTube page this summer, you know that we did a whole review of that movie because I saw it for the first time this summer, which is neither here nor there. But if you have seen that movie, which I would imagine all of you have, you know, they do their summer camp up in where I forget where, somewhere in Virginia. They go, Gettysburg. It was at Gettysburg. They go to Gettysburg and do their summer camp out there, and it's grueling and it's hard and it's all on purpose to be a slog. I think that's what the Titans are trying to recreate here this week, and they looked today more like a team that was going through that kind of football camp, and it's, you know, a little bit beaten down on day 7 of their long road trip, and less like the team that they're trying to preach them up to be, which is a team filled with urgency that has a lot of work to do, that desperately needs to utilize the next 20 days and 6 practices to get their act together before they face a really difficult Broncos team on the road in week 1. So those are all of my scatterbrain thoughts from today. We'll be back with you tomorrow after hopefully a better practice. Keep it locked here on the A to Z Sports YouTube channel. Will be hopefully me and Austin Stanley and JT Runke with you on the morning show at 8-ish Central Time. So tune in then, and we'll talk to you later.